Hello everyone and welcome to part 3. We are talking about we culture in Korea, and today we will talk about a concept which called Chong. Chong. And for Chong, there is not really specific parallel word in English that I can describe what it is, but I will do my best to explain what it is and how it is used. So in Korean, it's written as Chong, and it represents a feeling or a bond, which is of course invisible, and it's shared between either two people or a group, sometimes even a country. And let me try to explain a little bit deeper what is Chong. So if we're talking about a very simple translation, it will be affection between people, but it will not even begin to capture the meaning. Chong is very complex affection or very complex feeling between people. And it's a deep emotion. It's a special bond, special connection, which will not always be positive, by the way. And since we're talking about a deep connection, usually we're talking about something that will take time. So Chong will not happen immediately, but as time goes, as relationships get stronger, and although it's not always positive, it is usually positive, and it usually means that two people share a positive, special connection and affection, a special trust to each other, and this will be Chong between them. Now, it can be based on very different factors. So we can create this feeling, this deep affection feeling, based on our company. Or maybe we were classmates. Maybe we're coming from a similar background. And maybe it can even start from a good initial meeting when we share some deep connection. But as we mentioned before, it takes time. It does not occur at once. And if you see, it takes something in common. So when we have something in common, we can create Chong. So for example, I would like to hire a new supplier to my company. And if that supplier wants to work with me, basically what they will try to do is to create this kind of Chong, this kind of feeling. And that would be done by finding something in common with me. And that will be they will ask me a lot of questions. They will search a lot of information about me. They will try to go to the same maybe events as I do. They will see if we have any people that we know in common. And by doing so, and by meeting me a lot, and by talking about personal things a lot, this is how they can create Chong. And Chong can go a long way. So a lot of the times Chong can cause a lot of irrational decisions, a lot of actions and behaviors that we cannot explain rationally. So if you remember last time we were discussing about making decisions, and that decisions is not only based on the rational information and the content, but also about the emotional aspects. And Jeong is part of this emotional aspect. As we mentioned, this feeling is formed with time, and once it's formed, it is very hard to break. So generally speaking, if two people have Chong feeling between them, it will be very, very hard to break it. Because it's a deep process and a process that takes time, it is very strong connection. It is usually developing between two sides or a group. It is also possible to be developed by one side to another, or one side can feel a little bit more Chong or a little bit more affection or this kind of deep feeling toward the other side. One thing that is constant, even when we're having a Chong, we are keeping norms such as hierarchy or the way we speak, if we're speaking in honorifics or not. If we have between us any power balance that we will also discuss later in the course. Our relationship type. Am I your supplier? Am I your employee? Am I your business partner? All those relationships type, even though we have this deep feeling between us, it will maintain. For some non-Koreans, some Koreans still believe that Chong can only be felt among Koreans, but these days time has changed And a lot of Koreans also feel this deep feeling with non-Koreans as well. Since Chong is not very rational concept, but is more on the emotional side and the feeling side, then a lot of the times we struggle to understand exactly what it is. But just from me to you, if you're working with Koreans, try to see if you can feel it. If there is a connection, try to see, do I have any special connection with somebody here? Do I think that there is anyone that I really fond and I cherish and I have these very positive feelings to? I think it will be easier to understand the concept. And this is the end of part 3. I hope you enjoyed to hear about Chong. And the next part, in part 4, we will go a little bit deeper into the power of Chong and what does it mean and how is it used.